Hello again, and welcome to the fourth and final module of our Trinity Church Online Abuse Prevention Plan training. Thank you for going through the training and for all that you do serving at Trinity. In this module, we will talk about photography, internet use, social media, counseling, understanding and reporting abuse, and fire evacuation. Let's get started. So for photography and video recording, it will only be done by a designated ahead of time approved worker and only by that person or persons. When photography or video recording will be done at a general public church service or activity, signage will be posted notifying those in attendance that the event will be captured on film. Individuals may choose to stay out of the line of the camera or, if necessary, opt out of the event. That sign is posted just inside the door of the foyer. For all events and programs serving minors, parental permission will be secured via the registration form or on the church's photography release form prior to taking photos of the minors. No photographs will intentionally be taken of minors for whom we do not have parental permission. This is always really important to keep in mind. When we take pictures of minors for whom we have permission forms signed, we will always use the utmost discretion if any of those pictures are ever going to be posted online on Facebook or any other way. And we will make sure that nothing is specifically tagged or labeled to identify any individual minor in those pictures that are posted. Let's talk about internet use at the church. Any computer at the church that is accessible to the general public will be placed in an open area where the screen is visible, and any minor accessing a church computer must be authorized to do so by the ministry leader and be fully supervised while doing so. Internet filters or similar will be installed on the computer to limit access to adult content or anything that we don't want people getting to, and access to the Wi-Fi is password protected and limited to use by authorized ministry personnel only. Social media will be used to communicate with parents and youth for the following purposes. General improved communication, keeping those lines open, to promote and advertise church activities, to notify parents and or youth of events, and to arrange face-to-face meetings. Communication for minors under grade 6 must be directed solely to the parent or guardian. Communication with all minors in grade 6 and above via email, text message, Facebook, or any other online or digital means will be used with parental permission obtained through registration forms. All communication via social media networks should be done in view of other people, i.e. on public pages, wall-to-wall, copied messages, not through direct private messaging. Workers will limit communication with youth to daytime hours, 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., and workers will refrain from using social media networks for counseling or pastoral care. So let's talk about counseling. Counseling is defined as ongoing conversation dealing with one or more personal issues. A brief, one-time discussion listening to a problem is not considered counseling. It is advised that no worker should counsel a minor alone. However, if one-to-one counseling is requested, the following must be observed. A member of the pastoral staff shall first be advised. Parental guardian consent shall be obtained in writing prior. It must take place in an open area and should be referred to a qualified counselor. As a general rule, we do not counsel minors. Let's talk about how we understand abuse. We need to look for the warning signs, things like nervousness around adults, aggression towards adults or other minors, inability to stay awake or concentrate for extended periods, sudden dramatic changes in personality or activities, unnatural interest in sex, frequent or unexplained bruises or injuries, low self-esteem or poor hygiene. Those are some things we want to be looking for. Some signs of possible physical abuse: frequent bruises, burns, restraint marks, unexplained injuries, patchy hair loss, grip marks. Behaviors associated with physical abuse: reluctance to explain injuries, fear of going home, fear of an adult, uncharacteristically aggressive behavior or uncharacteristically passive and compliant behavior, a noticeable change either way. Extremely low self-esteem. Behaviors associated with physical abuse: wearing of seasonally inappropriate clothing, likely to hide bruises, difficulty cooperating with peers, fear of going to a particular place, like the washroom or a certain classroom or by a closet, things like that. Possible signs of sexual abuse: pain or itching in the genital area, urinary or bowel problems or infections, signs of sexually transmitted diseases, odors, abdominal pain or discomfort, difficulty sitting or walking, pregnancy. Behaviors associated with sexual abuse: inappropriate sexual knowledge for their age, promiscuous or sexually provocative actions or a lack of normal attraction to the opposite sex, fear of being alone with an individual, fear of going to a particular place. So we do have a responsibility for reporting, so let's talk about that. Our corporate obligation: we are a corporation with the responsibility for the well-being of the minors in our care. The legal obligation: the law requires that any person involved with the care of minors to report any abuse of minors. We will do this through our pastoral staff and, in their absence, a person approved by the board of directors. Please contact the board chair. We also have a spiritual obligation. God has given us responsibility to care for the minors, therefore it becomes everyone's personal responsibility to provide for the safety of these minors. Reporting abuse is a demonstration of love, care, and concern. When do you report abuse? If someone has suffered physical harm inflicted by a worker or other person, someone was lost or injured and the worker has not provided adequate supervision and care, someone has been sexually molested or exploited by a worker or other person, someone was in need of medical intervention and worker neglected or refused to provide for the minor's medical care, if a minor arrives to a church-sponsored function with signs of abuse. We report abuse if a minor has suffered emotional harm or psychological damage and demonstrated by severe anxiety, depression, withdrawal, self-destruction, and aggressive behavior. The minor's parent or the person having charge of the minor does not provide or refuses or is unavailable or unable to consent to services or treatment to remedy or alleviate the harm. Who will report and to whom? Each person who believes or suspects on reasonable grounds that a minor is or may be in need of protection has the legal obligation to report the suspicion directly to Family and Children's Services. It is the sole responsibility of the individual making the report to do so immediately. No one may conduct an investigation into a case of abuse or question an individual beyond what was stated earlier, that is, to stop or prevent an abuse event. The senior pastor or the designate shall conduct a preliminary investigation of the allegation of abuse and make a report to Family and Children's Services if their findings so warrant. Once a report has been made to FNCS, no further investigation may be made until authorized by the proper civil authorities. This will be after the police and FNCF have finished their investigations. The church and all individuals involved shall use their best efforts to maintain confidentiality regarding any information obtained and any report or records pertaining to the case of an abuse. If questioned regarding a case of abuse, direct the person inquiring to the lead pastor or the person designated by the board of directors. The board of directors will appoint a spokesperson for all media inquiries. Lastly, we will touch base about our fire evacuation policies and procedures. If the fire alarm sounds while you are supervising minors, pick up the attendance page, proceed to the closest exit to the parking lot, make sure everyone in his attendance is accounted for, work together to carry all the babies out. You can see here is the main floor plan, and here is the plan for the basement. Thank you very much for completing the final module of our online abuse prevention plan training. You are amazing. It is so great to have you serving at Trinity and supporting the kids and the youth. May the Lord lead you and guide you as you serve Him. So please make sure you go ahead and complete the comprehension quiz now that you have finished all the online training module videos. You will need to get 100% on the 20 questions in the comprehension quiz. It will tell you if you did not, so please repeat until you have gotten 100%. It is an open book test, so you feel free to have a copy of the prevention plan documentation in front of you as you answer the questions. God bless.